Yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community. Boy, I tell you, the free agency market just keeps on getting wilder, doesn't it? So, it's breaking news around the NBA again that the Charlotte Hornets have signed Gordon Hayward, get this, to 4 years and $120 million. Boy, I must tell you, Michael Jordan must have been hungry to get this man to come over to Charlotte. I'll tell you that. Boy, I'll tell you, when Gordon Hayward, was at his peak, he was actually a really good player. But when you look at what has happened to him since 2017, when he basically broke his leg on the very first game of that season, all right, get this, he has missed over 111 regular season games, 31 playoff games. His per game numbers have declined on a deeper Boston roster, but his efficiency hasn't even necessarily improved with his less the defensive attention. So he has shot 59% from the field, the same numbers that he boasted during his final season with the Utah Jazz. And plus, he's missed so many games that right now he's now 30 years old. He's practically on the decline. But it didn't matter to the Hornets because they were so hell bent on giving this guy the money that they think that he deserves that they just basically sold out the entire house to get him over here. After basically, they're gonna waive Nicholas Batum, all right, and they're gonna try to create cap space for the contract. Then that will basically cost him another $9 million annually for the next 3 seasons, basically bringing up the total cost of his acquisition to about $147 million for the next 4 years. All right. Boy, I must tell you, if you're a Hornets fan, this should just really just disgust you once again because once again, Michael Jordan gave Terry Rozier a lot of money a couple of years ago, and now Gordon Hayward is getting $120 million. Man, I'll tell you. And it's also according to CBS Sports, only 22 players in the NBA have contracts in total that are worth about $147 million. And of those 22 players, 15 of them are former All Stars, and unfortunately, actually former All NBA selections. And Hayward's not. And 7 of those haven't even earned that honor. With five of those coming off of rookie contracts, which they signed, with the exception that eventually would reach to that level. So pretty much, you guys, Michael Jordan pretty much sold house and pretty much say, "Hey, go get this guy." You know what I'm saying? So I'll tell you what. You know what? Thing is, you got to give some credit to his agent, to Hayward's agent. You better serve this man all the dinner he can get for this Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Scored him a big deal, and the bottom line was, even after when Gordon Hayward opted out of his contract with the Celtics to become a free agent, he didn't have much leverage, and the team that basically with that much cap space had that much cap space was the New York Knicks. But according to reports, the Knicks were not even coming close to the type of offer that the Charlotte Hornets were giving him, and preferred much more of a short term deal. The Indiana Pacers were pretty much the other team in the mix, but they didn't have enough cap space to pretty much suit to what Kaywood was looking for, and pretty much the Hornets pretty much gave that kind of offer on the table. So pretty much is this: 30-year-old is in a valuable position in the grand scheme of things, unless they try to figure out immediately how they can try to contribute to a championship contention. And do you expect the Charlotte Hornets to be in championship contention? I don't think not. But I will say this: I will say this: if he stays healthy, he actually makes them a better team. But does he make them a playoff team? No, it doesn't. All right. Here's the thing: by the time his contract expires, he's going to turn 33. And by that time, you got Devontae Adams, who's 25, Miles Bridges, and PJ Washington are 22. And you just drafted LaMelo Ball, who's basically it's 19. That's a young roster. And by the time that young roster is pretty much mature and ready to go to win, pretty much Gordon Hayward is going to be the old veteran on that team that may have a huge decline in his play and may not just value to anything anymore. So I really don't understand where Charlotte is coming from in terms of giving him that deal. And pretty much the same year, a year ago, they gave. Let's get this. They gave backup uh, point guard Terry Rozier, who spent his time with the Celtics as a point guard, as a backup point guard. All right, they gave him 3 years and $56 million. All right, and what has he done for the Charlotte Hornets? Nothing at all. Pretty much proven to the point that he was nothing more than a bench scrub. That's all he ever was. You understand what I'm saying? This guy was pretty much not worth the money of that contract. All right. I don't know what the Hornets are doing right now, but this is a really, really bad deal on their part. All right. But they just were so determined on bringing Gordon Hayward to their team. They just pretty much sold the entire house to get him over here. And hey, the Celtics did what they had to. They pretty much did what they had to do, and they just let him walk. So I'll tell you what, man. This is not going to make them a better. This is really not going to make the Hornets a better team. And you are basically developing a young roster of players right now, and you're bringing this into the mix. I don't know what Jordan and the Hornets are thinking, but you know what? Wish them nothing but the best on their future plans of whatever they want to do with Gordon Hayward, because the player that they thought he was back then in Utah, he's not that same player anymore. Injuries have caught up to him. His defense has declined, and he's not shooting well at all. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what? If they think they can get a gem out of this and see that they can get the old Gordon Hayward back, hey, worth the risk then, huh? So I don't know. I just think this contract's not going to work out too well, and they're pretty much overpaying a guy that's pretty much on the decline at this particular point in time. But you know what? Hey, Gordon Hayward has got the big money contract, so hey, more power to you. So this just pretty much is what it is. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section below.